And again, I'm Michelle Morisi, practitioner of Chinese medicine, and we're going to be talking about functions of the large intestine today and looking at what the large intestine in health and out of health looks like in our lives. So some of it's pretty straightforward, some of it less expected or beyond like physical associations. So the functions of the large intestine are fewer than the lung, and typically that is the case with yin versus yang organs. So the lung would be the yin organ in that pairing. And a lot of the large intestine functions, or a lot of the functions we would consider to be part of the large intestine, are attributed to the spleen in Chinese medicine. But anyway, the three functions of the large intestine are quite simply to receive food and drink from the small intestine, to absorb the fluids, and to excrete the stool. So pretty straightforward. And again, like I said, in Chinese medicine, the spleen is in charge of a lot of things that we would associate with the large intestine organ in Western medicine. So the spleen, just briefly, it transforms and transports the qi from food to the body, and so it really just kind of governs digestion in a lot of ways, and can be responsible for different disorders of the bowels. That being said, the large intestine patterns of disharmony usually have to do with the bowels as well. But first we'll talk about the large intestine imbalance. So essentially the large intestine is in control of deciding what to discard, what no longer serves us, but also what little bit of value might still be able to be extracted before we release waste or release what no longer serves us. So this works on a physical level, obviously, but also mental, emotional, spiritual level. So on a physical level, a healthy large intestine discards waste from the metabolism, so it appropriately leaves the body through bowel movements that are well-formed, regular. So in Chinese medicine, that would be a daily bowel movement, ideally in the early morning before taking in anything, any food or beverages. And if we do not have healthy digestion, it's well known that sometimes toxins can be released through our skin. And we also talked about in previous classes the association between the lung and skin. So healthy skin can be a result of healthy digestion, healthy large intestine and lung, and vice versa. So on that note, we'll talk about, no, not on that note, not yet. We're going to talk about the large intestine on a mental, emotional level. Next, imbalance. So on a mental level, it's being able to, my cat's trying to break into the room. It is about letting go of negative thoughts and not holding on to thoughts that are kind of toxic, and treating your mind like a cesspool. So you treat your mind like a sacred space, and allow in what really serves the mind. So that is a function of a healthy large intestine. Obviously, most of us have negative thoughts or self-defeating thoughts that enter in at times, but not to get mired in those is a healthy function of the large intestine. And from that, healthy self-esteem is built. Another thing is our speech can be affected in terms of like our language. In Chinese medicine, sometimes like dirty, like excessive dirty language or vulgar language, or just kind of like crass, that's just like excessive and inappropriate and like just too much, making people uncomfortable, is sometimes seen as an imbalance of the intestines. So it could be the small intestine as well, but the large intestine could result in not having respectable speech. So there's a time and a place for certain language, but to be always kind of dwelling in vulgar language and just not being respectful of the circumstance can be due to an imbalance in the large intestine. We'll probably talk about that more too when it comes around to the fire element, which the small intestine is part of. Another way that can show up is just having respect for your space and keeping your space clean and tidy, and just kind of living in filth or hoarding and over accumulating can be a sign of a large intestine imbalance. Also, placing too much value on stuff, so that could also tie in with hoarding, rather than on the essence of something, what is actually important to you, versus the shape of that something, getting attached to that physical shape of something. So we've really started talking already about the large intestine out of balance, but just to be clear, if the large intestine's role is to discard waste, then out of balance it would present as holding on to waste, holding on to toxicity or what no longer serves you, and perhaps also letting go of things that are valuable. So the large intestine physically extracts fluid or water that is still useful to the body before the stool passes out of the body. So not properly extracting that fluid would result in in literally a bowel disorder, and then on a mental, emotional level, that could also result in an imbalance in terms of not recognizing true value, and why, either in yourself or in others, and just being overly critical. And so some digestive imbalances I'm sure all familiar with constipation, diarrhea. This could stem from a larger issue like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease. Those are all imbalances in the large intestine organ itself. And like we were talking about before, the skin can sometimes take on the responsibility of releasing toxins that aren't able to clear out through the proper channels, resulting in acne or pustules, to just get those toxins out of the body in whatever ways possible. And then on a mental, emotional level, like I was saying before, having almost treating your mind like this big cesspool, like just dwelling in negativity, criticism, just thinking everything is crap, everything is worthless, you are worthless, negative or low self-esteem, living in just filth. And when you have the capacity and you are able to keep your space clean and choosing not to, being unable to let go of things, unable to evolve, unable to, and then that results in a block from receiving inspiration, which is the role of the lung, to be able to not only breathe in new air, fresh air, but to receive pure chi from the heavens or inspiration from the divine, or maybe new ideas. And as I already said, having this kind of like being foul-mouthed or trash-talking a lot, as well as putting value in stuff and potentially hoarding, or just over-accumulating jewelry, clothes, money, technology that you have perhaps misconstrued with true value, or what you truly seek, right? So those are some functions of the large intestine and ways that it can go in and out of balance and present in and out of balance. And next week we will talk about some more lung and large intestine acupressure points that you can use on yourself to support the health of your metal element.